it's a very challenging thing, right? And you expect that anyone, not me alone, anyone can give you an answer and give you an algorithm. You do 1, 2, 3, then 3 will result into 4 and 4 will into 5. I'm sorry, there is no such answer that exists. We have got 24 hours and everyone has got 24 hours only. Stephen Hawking also had 24 hours and prophets also had 24 hours. And a person who, when we were just walking, there was a person, I think he was drunk, and that old man probably was sick as well, and he has also 24 hours, right? And they were born with the same genetic chromosome system, which so all of us has got same distribution, maybe little genetic variation about our potential to do that, which is then modified by our nurturing environment from year 0 to 7, but all of us actually has got the same circumstances. So the most important thing, which I think should address your question, is that we must be very sure about our priorities in the life. And while making a list of the priorities, we should do all possible homework and set a priority of life. And then we should be very loyal to those priorities, right? Now, if suddenly, how many of you drove to come here? How many of you? Right? Most of you drove to come here. Suddenly someone tells you, there is a gentleman who is actually stoning your car. And he's just scratching on your car. How many of you will get up and go and just look into it? You just forget who is this JAVÉD Iqbal coming from, who has got 2.1 million blah 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 followers, and you will just rush there and you'll see what is happening over there, because this is this example came only spontaneously in my mind. So if we have got a priority in our life, then we are loyal to those priorities, then somehow we manage to get our time for those priorities, right? So in a short period of time, although we can actually conduct a whole workshop and we can tell you, and if you go to YouTube, you will find grids. There are things which are important, they are urgent, there are non-urgent, non-important. There are a lot of other theoretical stuff we can discuss. But I think the brief answer to your question is that one must think and just understand that this life is given to me only once, and I have to set priorities in it. And set up those priorities. So in your life, if you have got 2 children, now one of your top priorities should be that these children should be better than me, not only for my sake or their sake, but for the sake of the humanity. Because these horses, cats, and dogs, and all other creatures, they have been here with us since we are over here, right? 70,000 years back, you can trace human history, and that time there were cats and there were dogs and there were other animals as well. But you don't find any undergraduate school of cats. There is no All Britain Cat Association. You don't find any religious sect in the cat, and they don't have any airline, and they don't have any bus service or all that. How come humans are able to actually could do larger than life? Whereas physically they are much weaker than a horse. They are much slower than a panther. And their hearing ability is much less than the birds. And they cannot swim like a fish. And they can't crawl like a snake. But how come human beings have got this much ability to just take a huge piece of iron and fly it to 50,000 feet high and just fly it to Australia in half a day, right? This is because every coming generation has been utilizing the previous conscious experience and building a fiction and converting into a reality and transferring it to the other nation. So it is your priority number. If someone is a parent, that is his priority, that having a job, having a house, having a car, other social relationship, all those things are important. But making a good human being has to be the top priority. And this has been one of my areas of interest, which is parenting. And fortunately, you don't need to spend whole life for it. Day zero of your childbirth to 7 years is the critical time. So like I had a granddaughter a few months back, and I told to my son and daughter-in-law, both of them are doctors, that look, now you have to divide the work. Maybe one of you can just take an year off. Because from year 0 to 7, you have got a great responsibility. And if we just spend those 0 year to 7 years very carefully, according to all scientific principles, then actually you make a foundation for a very good human being. And this is something which actually I'm trying to tell to the people, that this year 0 to year 7, if you have a child, then please do something and put it on your priority. Just make a meeting yourself. Or you have a crisis, for example, in an institution, you have a board meeting and you decide what to do. So make a board meeting with your wife, or if you're lucky, your parents are with you, and make it a priority for that. And that will create a foundation, and this is very learnable. So this is one way to answer that. I hope I answered your question.